has a superpower. Please welcome Vicki.
So listen up, folks. Today I am going to tell you about a superpower that you can learn. It is not flying or being invisible or being super stretchy. No, this superpower is the superpower of listening. For those of you who heard my discussion about Willie Jones, this is my redo of that speech where I wanted to zero in on the skill he mentioned that I thought would be valuable to all of my fellow Toastmasters. Now, why is listening a superpower, you may wonder? Why should I care about that? We hear all the time, don't we? But a lot of that becomes white noise unless there's an alarm that grabs our attention. And we might not even notice all the delightful sounds around us because we just don't tune in all the time. The difference between hearing and listening is that listening is actually a skill you can learn by intentional practice. As fellow speech presenters, and more importantly, we are speech listeners in Toastmasters, I would like to encourage you to learn how to be a better listener because of all that it can give you as an individual speaker and as a friend in the world. Now, some of you may know I spent more than 20 years teaching elementary school. And the way that I would get children's attention, because you can't speak over them, is I say, give me 5. Now, that's not a high five. It is eyes open, ears open, heart open, mouth closed, and nothing in your hands. I say, give me your jazz hands. How does that relate to you adult listeners? Actually, a lot of it is the same. Willie Jones said in giving feedback, you should attend to what you see, what you hear, and what you feel from the speaker. And as for the mouth closed, we have the mute button for that. I would like to remind you, though, that nothing in your hands can apply to writing chat notes while somebody is speaking. Because if a student passed a note while I was speaking, I'd probably confiscate it because I want that person to be listening and learning. So I shouldn't have to tell that to you guys. I know you're giving your full attention here and now. So listening is a learned behavior. It involves concentration, interpretation, and response. So what you're seeing with your eyes is how does the person look? Are the gestures and mannerisms and facial expressions supporting the message? Are they dressed appropriately for this particular message? Sports, maybe if I'm talking about something sporty, but I wouldn't want to be wearing a bathing suit right now. You might not take me very seriously. Listening, what are we listening for? Is the speech clear? Is the speech well organized? Are you able to discern what the main points are? And are you hearing a lot of jargon that you don't understand? Those are things that you might want to give as feedback to a speaker. To me, the most important thing, though, is despite what you see and despite what you hear, are you getting the message? We can make a lot of mistakes with ums-ers and things like that and maybe have some nervous habits, but content is key. And did the speaker present a speech that connects with you in some way? Do you get something out of hearing this speech? Did it make to remind you of something? Did it motivate you to do something? Did it entertain you? It should reach you in some way. Why should we care about being a good listener? Because it helps us to be a good speaker. Now, what if you're not interested in what the person has to say? For example, I gave a speech about Barbies, my passion, looking at the faces out there, probably not many of yours. Why would you tune in? Why wouldn't you tune out and work on your grocery list? Well, because like I said, there's something to learn from everything. And what I tried to do in that speech was have a universal theme that talked about things that some of you might relate to. I won't torture you with it now, I promise. However, there's something in every speaker for everyone. So I encourage you to give your eyes open, your ears open, your heart open. And if there's something in your hands, maybe a pen for taking down notes, so that you can give a thoughtful and constructive response. Now, I was speaking to you as Toastmasters, but also being a good listener is a wonderful social skill, friendship skill, life skill. Sometimes, often, people just want to be heard. They don't need advice. They just want to be heard. I call my mom every week. She's 84 in a nursing home, and she tells me, I remember this and I remember that. And it's usually the same thing. And now and again, it's a new little nugget. But the important thing is she feels heard. So she feels validated. And I have a book called Listening is an Act of Love. So I think we should all use the superpower of love and develop the superpower of listening. We can listen to learn when we learn to listen. I thank you all.